Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
And new tonight, President Donald Trump spoke before a joint session of Congress and to the American people. You watched it here live on Channel 5, but then within minutes, there were disruptions.
The chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
The president stopped talking for a moment as Texas Representative Democrat Al Green was thrown out. Trump then continued, claiming his second term in office has already been the most successful presidency in American history. Ben Henry joins us now with political analyst Larry Jacobs from the University of Minnesota to break down what we heard tonight. Gentlemen?
A lengthy message at that, I believe, just more than an hour and 40 minutes, a record they said. Just within the last week and a half or so much on the table. You had the exchange between him and the Ukrainian president. You've got the stock market having a tough couple of days, tariffs kicking in today, a lot on the table for the president. He's done these before. Not a traditional approach President Trump takes here.
No, not at all. Usually you see a president, they go through their legislative agenda. I am proposing, this policy, and then the cameras will pan to the secretary of the department that's proposed that. Donald Trump didn't do that at all. We have a looming crisis where the government could be shut down a week from Friday. He didn't talk about it at all. And that's a real departure. Instead, he talked about these executive orders that he was signing. And those can have an impact. But the next president can just simply sign their own executive orders and eliminate Trump's.
A renewal of the American dream, one of the first few words he said, trying to rebuild or at least build on the confidence that he says he's building on. That was a key message, a key part of his campaign and in the first several weeks, the economy. Let's take a listen on him addressing cutting costs.
We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
Larry, you mentioned it, though. Not many specifics mentioned tonight, more trying to build confidence in the things that he has done thus far.
We are seeing a number of polls coming out showing that Americans are becoming frustrated that Donald Trump is focusing on a whole lot of other issues, but not what he promised, which is, tackling inflation. And I think the president was trying to provide an upbeat, pitch for what he is doing and trying to keep the country behind him. He's only in the first 6 weeks, and I think he was saying the best is yet to come. He repeated that phrase a number of times. So I think it was a kind of a rally more than a specific policy pitch.
Clearly a divided room, but still a few attempts to reach out to Democrats.
So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
We know an address like this can pave a path forward for not just Congress, but the country. Where do you think the U.S. moves after tonight?
Well, I think there is certainly, rejuvenation and hope for Donald Trump tonight. How long does that last? I don't think it's going to be long. I think Americans are going to be following the results. If tariffs leads to higher inflation, if there's a stalling of the economy, all that is going to hurt Donald Trump very quickly. And we're going to start to see more doubts and reservations among the enthusiastic Republicans who are in the room tonight.
Government shutdown, going to be a big story here in the next few weeks. And then the president said a letter from Zelensky and talks with Russia as well, Kevin. The Democrat response as well, Kevin, tonight.
Okay, thank you, Ben and Larry. And Senator Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat from Michigan, gave that party's response.
The president talked a big game on the economy, but it's always important to read the fine print. So, do his plans actually help Americans get ahead? Not even close. President Trump is trying to deliver an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends. He's on the hunt to find trillions of dollars to pass along to the wealthiest in America. And to do that, he's going to make you pay in every part of your life.
Senator Slotkin also criticized tariffs, saying the nation's debt is going up, not down, and says if the president's not careful, he could walk us right into a recession. Now,